Let's dive right into how trends, aren't just born out of nowhere, but come up like secret currents from deep underground, waiting for the world to change its skin.
Absolutely.
It's like, imagine an old wooden table marked by years of stories, where every wrinkle tells you that each season is promising something brand new. But the truth is, trends follow these underground, almost hidden signals.
Right? And that idea hits home when you think about those earliest whispers from Paris during the 1860s, where a single designer, like Charles Frederick Worth, started proposing ideas instead of simply responding to demands.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fascinating. Trends weren't always a grassroots thing from the public. They began in exclusive salons and then transformed into something the whole street could see. It's like the gesture of a designer resonated, traveled from a posh private room right out into the bustling streets.
Indeed, that transformation is so rich, especially when you consider the Industrial Revolution, factories buzzing, chimneys sending smoke into the sky, and suddenly fashion was sped up. Dresses that once took years were now being produced in
Right
weeks.
on. Exactly. It's like, the machinery of change kicked in. Tapestries printed with catwalks of ideas, and modistes copying trends faster than ever. And here's a kicker. When more people can wear similar styles, the question becomes, who exactly is driving these
That's a deep one.
changes? And then we see the influence of print media, magazines like Vogue turning into these guiding compasses. When Vogue appeared in 1892, it wasn't just about clothes, it was about capturing a code, a kind of silent language written in dobladillos and silhouettes.
Absolutely. I find it so vivid how the narrative then shifts to those roaring 20s. After the war, the air was filled with freedom, the corsets loosened, the hair cut short, and then those flapper skirts just started to flow. It's like the body was finally allowed to speak its own language.
Right? It's like the very essence of the modern trend. Liberation that screams, live fast, dress light, and the camera of our imagination zooms in on that rebellious spirit, showing how the very silhouette of dress becomes a statement of freedom and, even scandal sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, when crisis comes knocking in the 1930s, the narrative shifts too. Elegance becomes sharper, more defined. Hollywood projects this longing for glamour even against a backdrop of austerity, like using limitations to craft a refined, almost sculptural look.
I can totally see that. Speaking of dramatic shifts, remember the new look in 1947? That sliding door from scarcity to abundance, cinched waists, full skirts, and an explosion of fabric. It's as if the world, suddenly, wanted to drape itself in dreams rather than limitations.
Exactly. And the interplay between street style and runway always adds that extra spice. In the swinging 60s of London, for example, the miniskirt, as championed by Mary Quant, reversed the hierarchy. Suddenly, the youth had the power to speak up, and the street became as influential as any exclusive show.
Yep, totally. Then comes the punk rebellion, when fabric becomes a battlefield with spikes and leather, and the fashion narrative flips on its head, embracing counterculture. It really makes you wonder, was it just a rebellion or the birth of a whole new way of storytelling through style?
Yeah, it's like, the trends started to flow from both ends. Not just a top-down approach from luxury designers, but from the gritty creativity of subcultures stepping onto the scene. It's the street, raw, unpredictable, and yet meticulously influential.
Right?
Then, entering the 70s, we see a dance between bohemian freedom and disco allure. On one hand, you got the natural textures of Bohemia, and on the other, the shimmering lame of the club scene, each echoing different facets of our collective mood.
Yeah. It's almost like a split personality for fashion, calm by day, ecstatic by night. But while many call it a duality, I sometimes wonder if these contrasts truly coexist, or if one always eventually overtakes the other.
That's a great point, though I'd say it's more like a delicate balance that designers intentionally play with. Exactly. And then the 80s scream power with those broad shoulders and boldly stamped logos. Fashion as a kind of armor, a symbol of ambition and success. It's a time when the look was not just about silhouette, but status, like wearing a badge of honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And suddenly in the 90s, the noisy excess gives way to minimalism. The clutter fades into crisp lines and black and white statements. The environment of fashion cleans itself up, almost as if the world needed a moment of quiet after all that chaos.
Exactly, it was a breath of fresh, unadorned air. Now fast forward to the new millennium, where the word acceleration itself defines the scene. Fast fashion emerges and trends explode almost overnight. It's a race where, a runway look on Monday might hit the racks by Friday.
Notice the speed, yeah? And the digital era then flips the script, right? Social media turns every user into a mini editor, sparking micro tendencies that flare up and vanish like shooting stars. It's almost poetic. 1 minute you're following the trend, and the next, the trend seems to be following you.
Absolutely. And this speaks volumes about how connectivity has reshaped the fashion cycle. A single outfit can go viral and then spark an entirely new wave, sometimes with such impermanence that it exists only for a day.
Indeed, it's like living on the edge of now.
And if we look at the shift towards sustainability in recent years, it's truly a narrative built on contradictions. The deep-seated desire for novelty clashing with our emerging sense of responsibility. Sustainable materials, upcycled fabrics, they tell us that fashion is starting to listen to the environment.
Right, it's almost like fashion suddenly got a conscience. That really is a turning point. Yet I sometimes question whether the pursuit of sustainability might slow down the creative explosion. I mean, can the industry maintain its fast-paced dynamism while upholding eco-friendly values?
Well, honestly, it's a balancing act. The innovation in fabric technology and digital design seems to be steering that dialogue, not stifling it. Exactly. Look at how technology has seeped right into the fabric of our lives. We now have 3D prototypes, virtual fashion shows, even clothing that can light up or sense your body temperature. It's like the digital and physical worlds are merging on the runway.
Revolutionary stuff indeed. And then there's that intriguing twist where trends aren't just dictated from the top. They're emerging as a mosaic in global streets, from Lagos to Tokyo to Ciudad de Mexico. Each city reinterprets a single design into a unique language, transforming trends into a global conversation.
Totally, yes. It's like a dynamic tapestry where every thread represents local stories, contextual hints, and subtle nuances in identity. Fashion becomes this polyphonic, kaleidoscopic narrative that's ever-changing.
Absolutely fascinating.
And speaking of evolving narratives, remember those moments of suspense? The cliffhangers in fashion shows, the unexpected twist when a model appears in a radically different ensemble that just stops the audience in their tracks. It's like the trend itself dares you to predict what comes next.
Right. I love that unpredictability. It keeps everyone on edge. Exactly. That element of surprise reminds me of the moment in a show when the designer takes a risk. It's almost like a delicate gamble. The audience might not love it immediately, but it challenges the status quo, prompting a fresh dialogue.
For sure, it's a necessary shock to shake the routine. And then, along with the tangible threads and stitches, trends also weave in technology and data. Trend forecasters now pull from economics, climate, politics even, as if fashion is an oracle that reads the pulse of society.
That multidimensional approach really sets current trends apart, doesn't it? It does. But I sometimes wonder, can such a data-driven approach capture the emotional nuance of what people wear? I mean, there's artistry and imperfection that algorithms might miss.
That's a fair critique, yet the blend of data analysis with creative intuition might just be the recipe to strike the right chord. Precisely. It's like we're at a junction where, on one side, there's raw, spontaneous creativity, and on the other, a deliberate, almost scientific way of predicting what we'll all crave next season.
Yep, and that junction is where the magic happens, right?
Absolutely. And if you think about it, this dialogue of fashion, spanning from exclusive salons of the past to the pixelated runways of today is really a conversation about how we as a society express identity, aspiration, and even responsibility.
A real mirror to the times we live in. And the final twist? It's that elusive spark, a designer's hesitation, a stray button that changes everything. That moment where a near accident turns into the trend that will define the coming season.
Right, that's the heartbeat of fashion, a decision in a quiet studio that echoes across the globe. It's almost, cinematic. The way a trend is built scene by scene, from the murmur of a tape measure unrolling over a worn wooden table, right up to the thrill of a backstage moment before the lights drop low on the runway.
It's like following a movie where each scene is a new chapter in a never-ending saga.
And that saga continues right into the future, with materials that are as conscious as they are cutting edge, and styles that not only dress us, but also tell our collective story of change, resilience, and creativity.
Absolutely, it's a vibrant collage of past influences and future innovations. So, summing it up, trends seem to be born at the intersection of history and emotion, a blend of technology, culture, and even a bit of serendipity that challenges us to keep reinventing what we wear.
Yes. And that ever-evolving interplay is what makes fashion such a riveting subject to explore. And isn't that, just brilliant? Each season, designers, sociologists, and everyday trendsetters join forces, whether consciously or not, to create a map of our emotional landscape and the state of our planet.
Right, because every piece of clothing becomes a statement, a snapshot of a moment in time. Exactly. And while some might argue that this constant churn of trends is a bit overwhelming, it's also what drives creativity forward. We see the unexpected collision of comfort and spectacle, of nostalgia and innovation.
And maybe that's exactly the point. It's a chaotic dance that mirrors our own lives. Yes, it's like, fashion is both a reflection and a forecast. A trend is born as much out of crisis as it is out of exuberant joy. Each twist in the narrative challenges us to look at our identities in a new light, always leaving us with that tantalizing cliffhanger of what comes next.
Absolutely, it keeps us on our toes, always anticipating the next big shift. And that, my friend, is the beauty of it all. Fashion isn't static. It's a living, breathing dialogue with history, technology, and our very human need to express who we are at any given moment.
I couldn't agree more. It's an endless journey where every season tells a story, and every story carries the promise of something entirely unexpected.